welcome to my channel Urmi World. In this Python for Beginners course, on the day 4th, we are going to learn about the variables. So let's begin. So what is Python variables? So variable is a container where you can store the values. Now you must be wondering what this variables kind of. So, in the school level, about algebra and calculus that comes in the maths, you must have worked with X, Y, Z. So, what was that? It was like certainly a value has to be defined or been assigned to that X and Y, and we sort of work on this calculation and derive something and get something at the end, and then we say that okay, what is could be the value of X and Y. So, here is the same thing, but there is no as such a rule that this is how the command or something to declare or to define any variable, but a very simple way that you can define a variable here. So let's understand about all about that. Let's say there is a any value, there is a 21, let's say, and I'll run this cell. So what this exactly this 21 is, 21 is certainly a value, though it is right now you are displaying, but it's certainly any integer type value. Now, let's say I want to utilize this value and certainly in some other cells I want to work on. But if you see about this 21, it could be possible, or it is the what is the drawback of using direct value is that on that same cell you can use it, but for the upcoming other cells you cannot reuse that 21. You have to write something back. It's not again, I would say it's a repetitive task you need to perform. So want to reduce that task level, Python come up with a concept of variable where you assign a value to whatever the value you want to assign to the variable you can declare in other cells. This is all about the theory, but let's see with working on this. So let's say this is 21, and let's say I add here certain, if I consider this as a variable container, and I'll name this variable container as in A. Okay, and let's say this 21 value I will assign to this A. Okay, and it's been stored in some 0 0 0 0 seventh location, let's say. Okay, this is somewhere it is stored in some seventh location. um, so this is some place in your device it's been stored. So what it will going to happen. So this variable is just we have declared. So let's declare here as well how we assign and declare the same thing. So there is no hard and fast rule or command. So directly I will write here A. I named it with a capital A. So capital A and small a will make a whole difference. We will see here. But first of all, capital A is equal to what? 21. This is how you can assign any value to your variable. This is the name of my variable, that is A, and the 21 is the value. Okay. Now, let's say I want to print this A. What is there in A? I just simply want to print it. So I will write print, and within the parentheses, I will mention that variable name. And first of all, I need to run this cell. Then the second, I will run again this cell. So what it gives me that A is now 21. But let's say after this, I changed it, this A, same A is equal to, let's say 30. And now running this cell again, I want to print this A. What it will give? It will give me the 30. So the point is, this is gonna override whichever the most recent one, it will get you the in the print. But let's say if I define somewhere small a is equal to 85, let's say, and now I want to have this print a, it will still give me 30. The difference is this A and this A both are different, considered to be different in Python, because Python is a case sensitive. So 2 points we kind of learned here, that the assignment operator is defined with an equal to operator, An equal to operator will give you that's an assignment operator, that any variable, you can name this variable anything in a letter, or you can also name it over here with an underscore. We will see in that points as well. But right now, if any value you want to assign it with the equal to sign, and name has to be defined. You need to give it a name. If that name you override with certainly some other value in the later stage and you run that cell, so whichever the most recent one, if you try to get the value of that a, then the recent value will be delivered. It's not that the first one you have did that. Then comes if there is a capital A, there is a small a, then capital A and small a both are considered to be different in Python, because both Python is a case sensitive language. You can give it a name, but they will consider as a different values, different variables. So this is about the assignment operator. But here one point I have said, that if you start anything with an underscore, let's say I give it a name as a variable underscore a is equal to 100, and try to get this value of underscore a. So this underscore a, you can start any variable name with an underscore, or simply just an underscore will also work it as a variable name. Now run this cell, you'll get it 100 without any error. But if I start something with, let's say, a dollar sign and dollar a as in my variable name, and want to run this and get the output, that it will give me the error. But one thing you should notice here, that dollar has been changed with the color. It was in the red color. So the red color is actually defined that this is an wrongly you named a naming convention, that is a name rule book for the variable name. So if you wrongly write anything, this will directly give you some red color indication that you made a mistake, and there's something else, syntax error or somewhere is an error. So this is the issue is with the variable name. You cannot assign any special characters at the start, or even the numbers. Let's say 1a, you think like, okay, this 1a is fine because it's in not in red in color, so we can have it. But if you see again, it will give you the error, because that is what the naming convention says for the variable, that you cannot give it a name that starts with a number or any special characters. There is a only exception is towards the underscore, which you can give it, or you simply just have an underscore and tried it with the underscore, run this cell, and you can have your 100. So this is about the variable naming conventions and the assignment operator. So let's move it to the next point. That is, these are the variables, right? Yeah, I missed one point, that you can also assign any variable the any string value or any float value. So let's see that as well. Let's say there is an variable b which is equal to, let's say, um, Ved. Okay, and now run this cell again, this b, and you will have this value. So you can also assign variable with this string value. Now let's say I have something with a float as well. C is equal to let's say 3.5, 3.56. Okay, and now I'll again want to have this. So let's run this cell. You can have this 3.56. So point is, you can assign any value to your variable. There is no boundary with that. Values, but how does Python understand this is a float, this is a string? So there is a one way that you can also see what is the type of this variable. You can simply work on the your code and all, and how you know that this particular is of what type, which variable is holding what type of data. Then you can you can have one command in Python that you can run that. So let's say I want to know what is the type of this variable A. What is the type of this variable A? So what A exactly is defined with a any integer value, right? So there is a function in the Python that you should write type, and within the type parenthesis, just give it a variable name, and now run this cell. It will give you the int what actually happened is whatever the value was there, now it is 30, right? We override that value with a. So that was 30. So 30 get into this. And what is the type of that 30? It's an integer type. So let's say I want to see for this B and run the cell. It will give me the string because B is actually a weight which is in the quotes written. If I want to see about what is with the type C, run the cell, you will get it in float because it's in the decimal. So this is how Python understands that what is the type of variable is using this type function within it. But you can also get to know from this by just simply passing this. This is about the variable that you have assigned and how you get the type. But you can directly also get these points. If I, let's say, just for an example, if I say type and I want to share as in Sally, let's Sally, and run the cell, you will see the string. So the point is either you give a variable name or directly a value, does not matter. But the matter why I'm saying variable is better because uh, variable is one of the way that you can use any variable anytime in your whole coding, and you are just assigning certainly a point which is temporarily stored in this variable. So this is about type and the assignment operator. Now the next come is the typecasting. So what is exactly this typecasting is? So typecasting is a method, is a process where you want to forcefully, explicitly, implicitly want to change the type of this any variable. So how you can do that? So there are two methods. But one method which is a straightforward you can do, which is forcefully you are transferring and converting the type of your data. So let's say here your a variable. What is the type of this a variable? Again, I will call here. The type of this a variable is an integer. Now, I want to change the type of this variable. So how I will do? Let's say I want to change it in a string and here pass this a. So just write str and call this as a function, and within this just pass that variable or pass that value that you want to change. Here what it does, this function, how it decodes what is there in a, and whatever it is there in a, it will change the type of that data to an integer. So now run this cell, you will get it 30, which is in the codes now. Initially, it was something A, which was here, which was 30, simply, was an integer. Now, after this, let me call it as A, then, okay, sorry. Now, run this cell. Oops, what happened? Integer, one second. Okay, this is actually what happened. We are not storing somewhere. So let me store it somewhere in A1 is equal to, and now get the type of the C1. So now run this cell. It will give you the string. But let me have both the values here. Now print this as well. And here I will write print A1. And now run this. So this print A1 from this A, first it was in 30, this was A 30, now str in A, and now get it this print, it's in the integer format. You must be wondering that why A1 is not giving in this brackets, because we have mentioned in a print. Run this cell now. If you run this cell, you will see this is in the quotes. Why? Because I directly pass this A1. If I mention something to display just a value within the quotes, then using this print, it will give you what is there within the quotes. It will not show you the quotes. That's why there is a difference. Um, So after this, what I see here, if I try to get the print of what is the type of this A1, then this will give me to as a string. So this is how you can typecast, you can change the type of the variable. Let's say again, let's say I will assign this A2, and let's say I want to change the A in float. So first of all, what is A right now? A is here 30, which is in the integer format. You must be having a question, so let me clear that as well. It is an integer A. It still remain as it is. Whatever the type casted, we stored it in a A1. So it does not overwrite or change the type of the A itself. Okay, so here I will change whatever I'll change the type of this A will make it change and store it in A2. So whatever that is a change, so the new variable we assigned it, that is A2. And in this A2 I want to have that what exactly this A2 is. So now run this cell, you will see 30.0, it is now becoming decimal. Now let's see what is the type of this A2. So type, and now A2, run this cell, you will see it is in the flow. So the point is, this is how you can simply change the type of your data. And this is all about the typecasting, that you can change the type of your data anytime. So this is all about the variables assignment, and the assignment operator, and how you can typecast this, what how you can see the type of that variable. There is one more point, which is that multiple, when you have variables, you how you can assign multiple variables with that same value. Multiple variables. Let's say I have A, V, and C, which is equal to, let's say I want to assign A as a 10, B as in 30, and C as in 60. And now I want to have the print of this A, B, and C. Run this cell. You will see that A is having 10, B is having 30, and C is having 60. If you still have a question, then we'll go on individual level. Let's say what is A now? It's 10. If I say B, then this is called, this is would be 30. And if I say C, then it will be 60. So this is how you can assign multiple variables with that value. You can also do, let's say if everything is same, let's say A is equal to B is equal to C, which is equal to 50. And now run this cell and get the value of the C down. So you will have this 50. Why? Because you have assigned 50 to each and every variable. So this is how you can have multiple variables by just simply having commas in between the variable names, and the same for this, as so it will take whichever the first one will be assigned to the first of the variable name. So this is all about multiple variables, how you can get the print of those multiple variables at the same time, and also if a same value has been assigned to that all the variables. So this is all